What's up, everybody? Sports Counterpoints podcast, September 28th, 2022. GB, Brian, Coop, what's happening?
What's going on? What's up now?
Man, back to the sports talk. NFL's in full swing. That's what we're going to talk about. NBA preseason kicks off Friday. That's all you're going to hear about it. Check your local listings. uh, and we'll talk about the Brett Favre, the welfare queen. So, yeah, NFL recap, man. Coop, you was talking about starting with our teams. So, let me just go first because to get this the hell out the way, man. These fools they trying to figure it out. It's almost as if they had some games they could have played in before these games to just kind of get like up to speed on like game speed and kind of playing with each other. Maybe some meaningless games that would be before the season. That might have been helpful, but so far not so good. They're trying to figure it out. So we'll see what happens. The Titans did not look good to me. I mean, they got the win, but they were bumbling too. So Derrick Henry's an absolute monster, though. That's all I ever think when I watch him play. He's one of the biggest humans ever, and he's fast. And I don't know how anybody tackles him. So, yep, that's your rated recap. 0-3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say a little more about that game, man. So I think about the Raiders last year and everything they went through, the Gruden situation, wide receivers were killing people on the road, cornerbacks, tolling rental cars and waving guns. And
Keep
after
in
all
mind,
of that,
the year before that, we had Antonio Brown.
and then had Antonio Brown play that whole debacle.
Bro,
And
it's been crazy.
But despite all of that last year, the Raiders still won 10 games and made the playoffs and only lost at Cincinnati by 3 points. Despite all of that.
It was 6, but yeah.
Everything, 6, okay. Everything that happened.
It was one touchdown.
Okay. And now all these Raider fans, of course, the scapegoat, they always, at least the ones out here in the Bay Area, always
definitely
blaming Derek Carr. They always blaming Derek Carr. And I'm like, everything they went through last year, they still made the playoffs with Derek Carr. He's been there through all the terminal, been the grown up, try to handle everything, whatever. This year, you get Devontae Adams, you get a new coach, and you got a head coach who is somehow being absolved from blame from Raider fans. And what has he proven? He didn't prove anything in Denver. He backed out the Indianapolis job, and he's 0-3 with a talented Raider team. I mean, yeah, a little flawed like in the secondary, but still talented. Shouldn't be 0-3. So I kind of blame this on Josh McDaniels. I really don't blame this on Derek Carr. I mean, this dude. Coach. Yeah, I think this dude, Josh McDaniels, I think he got to delay a game after calling a timeout. I don't even know how that's even possible. He called a timeout. So you need an extra 30 seconds to delay a game. And then he says in the interview that we need to learn how to win. I think he needs to learn how to win because they were winning before him. Devontae was winning before him. The Raiders won before him. So I'm putting this on Josh McDaniels, man. I'm not sure if he's a head coach, man. I got questions about another head coach in your division I'll talk about later. But Brian, you got any thoughts about this game?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily on the coach. I do think they're still trying to figure some things out, but I also think it's tough to start a season with a lineup when you're going against Chargers, who are one of the most talented teams in football, the Cardinals, who are supposed to be very good and were healthy that week, and Titans team that has Derrick Henry. That's not how you want to start your season. You want to start your season off with the Texans and
we played 3 playoff teams from last year, including 2 of the top AFCs.
Exactly that. And now you have 2 division rivalries. And we talked about this last week. There was a situation in which if they lost this game to the Titans, they could very easily go 0-5. And that's not to say that they have no future, no hope, no whatever. But they're playing a division leading Broncos team, a superbly talented Chiefs team, and their division rivalries all early in the season. I think they might be the first team to go all the way through their division in the season, right? I mean,
easily,
so it's a lot of stuff stacked really early.
Yep.
That's all while they're still trying to figure stuff out. Now, I'm going to agree with you later when we start talking about Hackett. But right now, I just think that this team it's not over yet for them to be able to grow and do that.
No.
But I do think, and I said this when we talked about where they were going to land, I didn't think that they were going to be able to make the playoffs or really make much out of this season. This was going to be a season when they needed to try and figure it out, and this is kind of how it's going. So, and I just don't think I don't think it's there yet where we should put the tombstone and etch it and put it in place just yet.
No, for
Thanks,
the
B.
Raiders, no, put
Thanks,
tombstone in,
guys.
but it's definitely room for improvement. But that's what you have to
Yeah.
look
Is
forward
it?
to.
And I agree with you on Carr. Like
But
I don't think this has anything to do with Carr. I
right.
mean, Carr is playing solid football, right? 303, 303
Yeah.
yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick. One thing that I noticed that they haven't been able to really get going is that running game. And they had kind of established a solid but not out spectacular running game. And they need to kind of get back to that a little bit.
Yeah.
it's,
You have
it's gonna be
20 running
hard.
backs.
It's gonna be hard with that line, though. It's gonna be hard. That line doesn't
But
push
they've
anybody
always been able
around.
to do it, and they just you got to mix it up. They've got to find ways to throw the defense off balance. And yeah, their line is not great, but
Well,
it's also not Cincinnati's.
and to
So
that point, that's
there's a
Or
who
future there.
Buffalo's. They can't
that's
run
who
either.
Josh
Yeah.
McDaniels is supposed to be, right? This great offensive scheming mind. So scheme up, bro. What you want?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
put a
in
lot on him.
fairness, you just took a coach from a team that basically didn't use running backs as wide receivers out of the
Completely
backfield.
interchangeable. Yeah. Well, do it.
Like,
You got
so.
all like Coop said, you have all the pieces. I mean, I do know
Offense, yeah.
I play Madden, I be clowning, but I've thrown at least 255 picks in like 10 games because there's just too many people and you're just trying to throw it everywhere. So I get it. They just got to figure it out. But I do agree with y'all. And it's just funny to me, Coop and Brian, you guys talk about people being on Carr and this and that. It's funny to me how quick people forget because like I've been a Raider my whole life. Like I'm almost 40. So starting 0-3, like y'all are ready. Like, bro, have y'all seen these seasons? We started 3-0 every season with Gruden, and then we lost 4 or 5 in a row every time.
Yeah.
What are y'all talking about, man? Just cool out. Like you have the best roster we've had in 20 years.
Your fans, though, have gotten used to starting the season strong and then crapping the second half of the season.
I think, but like fans,
the last
right?
4 or 5 years, that's been kind of the modus operandi.
Fanatics, right? So every fan base has those people, and they're always the loudest ones are the ones that aren't necessarily sensible, right? Like if you're sensible, you just kind of watch and see what happens. The loudest ones are the Cowboy fans who every year say they're going to win the Super Bowl and ain't won jack. The Raider fans talking about it, like every team is saying this is their year before it's your year. You got to see. And I agree. It's so early for everybody, right? So speaking of which, so we went from us, then Vikings, because Niners had the night game. I thought y'all lost the way y'all was talking, and the Vikings won the game.
We should have lost. I mean, look, I told you exactly last week. I told everybody exactly what was going to happen. We were going to find a way to eke out a win. Kirk Cousins' numbers are going to look good. People are going to start talking about his season numbers, which only have 3 picks, all of which in one game, and his season touchdowns, which look all right, and his season QB rating and his season yards and all that kind of stuff, which all look okay when you obfuscate them in that way. But Kirk Cousins is just not a winner. I mean, if you watch that game, there's no point where you didn't think that the Detroit Lions were playing better football. And then at the very last drive, we go down, and our very last drive, we go down and we find a way to throw a touchdown to KJ Osborne, and we get a 4-point victory. We're not a good team yet. And now we've got the injury to Cook, and I think that's pretty significant. Cook looked great. The only ding on his stat for the day is the fumble that he lost, and that's only because he got injured on the play and the shoulder and separated the shoulder that he was holding the ball, and kind of hard to hold on the ball when you have a separated shoulder. But anyways, he looked very good. He looked like he was doing his thing again. They found a way to get Thielen involved, but the minute the lights shine bright, I just don't have that confidence in Kirk Cousins, and people are going to go, oh, but his fantasy stats are fine. And if you look at his stats in comparison to the other quarterbacks in the league, he's at the bottom of the top, which is kind of where he lives, right? There's 5, 6, 7, 8 guys that are going to be that are always top. And that's, I'm not talking about the Tuas who are playing at a level that we've never seen them play at, but I'm talking about, you look at the Josh Allens and Lamar Jacksons and Patrick Mahomes and those guys, Aaron Rodgers, when you put Kirk Cousins in the conversation with that, he's always kind of at the bottom of that mix. And that's where he is right now. These next, we'll talk about it in a minute, I'm sure, but these next few weeks are going to be real interesting, especially if Cook is not able to play.
Yikes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, going back real quick, Glenn. The Raiders. I don't know how you have this for Raider fans. I don't know how y'all get Devontae Adams and be worse in the red zone this year than y'all was last year. I'm just saying that's a Josh McDaniels issue. But
Yeah.
let me.
Oh, I agree.
But let me talk
agree.
about Minnesota. So I had this game last week. I said Detroit's going to cover the spread. Minnesota's going to win because they're Detroit. That's just what Detroit does. They blow games. I didn't watch any of the game when I was texting you guys. I was just looking at it from my phone and like a little bit from the red zone. To be honest with you, I just thought Minnesota was going to win, so it wouldn't really be that much suspense and drama. But it got a little crazy. Now for you, Brian, I know it sucks that Cook got hurt, but for me, it's great because I got Madison in all my fantasy leagues because I expected Cook to get hurt
Here's the
because
thing:
he
you
always
won't be able to
does.
play him. You won't
Why?
be able to play him because he's day to day.
Who,
right?
Madison?
No.
Oh,
Cook is day to day.
Cook is day to day.
They're talking
Okay.
about him playing, and this is the same crap they did last year. He sat for one game, and every other
Yeah.
time they said he's going to play, and then he does 5 or 6 carries, dings himself up. Madison comes in. You'll never be able to have confidence in putting in Madison.
Oh yeah, I got you.
And this week,
unless
you're gonna, in order to find out if he's playing or not, you're gonna have to wake up at 6:15 in the morning.
Exactly, which we know I'm not going to do. So therefore, I won't be playing him this week.
You're not gonna be able to play him. But,
And look, Brian, you got
him too. By the way, I always have his. I
always handcuff. Exactly. And look, you got to ease up on Cousins. Yeah, he's 2-10 on Monday Night Football, but he could be Daniel Jones. But listen, he could be Daniel Jones, who's 0-9 in primetime games. Period. So it could be worse.
Daniel Jones is not getting Kirk Cousins money.
Oh,
Daniel
Jones
is not being put on a team that has division winning aspirations. I won't say Super Bowl aspirations. That has a lot of talent on there. I mean, the offensive talent on the Vikings is amongst the best in the league. When you look at just wide receivers and running backs and tight ends and stuff like that, that collection. And Cousins is never going. Even if we get to the playoffs, every playoff game is a prime time game. It's a prime game.
Yeah.
And Cousins isn't
there. If he can't win a Monday night and Thursday night and Sunday night, you're not going to win a playoff game.
And plus, Daniel Jones got a receiver that's still in money named Kenny Galladay.
My God, that guy's still in the money.
He's just taking money.
He's literally how they have not cut him because he does not have guaranteed money. He's not Kirk Cousins in that regard. How they have not figured out that man is robbing the bank.
Glenn, he's stealing checks, man. He's stealing checks. Telling you,
robbing.
Right? Yeah.
Him.
I think
he's one of the highest paid in the league, ain't
he?
One of our receivers. Yeah.
He's up there.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Funny. So switching from let's go to the other how the Niners allowed the Broncos to be the AFC West leading. I knew there was no way I'll lose that game. I was on the golf course. I was kind of checking my phone. I'm like, all right, it's straight. Y'all close. Y'all keep them shut out. Hack and them can't figure it out. And I get in the car and look, and y'all down.
So I went to work. When I went to work on Monday, a few 49er fans, I know they ain't been there long. It's funny. They all had the same answer I got. Yeah, man, same old Jimmy G. Can't sustain drives. And if we do, it's going to be a field goal only. A back-breaking interception late in the game, as usual. He had all these people in the media. Oh, the 49ers are much better with Jimmy Garoppolo than Trey Lance. So does much better mean stepping not 1 but 2 feet out of the end zone to make a safety? Because that's a rookie mistake. I'm just saying. So it's been 6 years and you made
those guys are mistakes. Big. It's scary.
Right. Yeah. After 6 years, this is why I'm done with quarterbacks, man. After 5-6 years, you're still making rookie mistakes, man. I'm done. So people got all these excuses for Jimmy Garoppolo, and
not me.
Not Brian. It's the same.
Not me.
And they always say, which is true. Kyle Shanahan's record with Jimmy Garoppolo, I guess, is, I don't know, 67%, whatever it is, and 33% when everybody else are close to it, whatever. And I think that's a Shanahan problem because if you can only win with Jimmy Garoppolo, that's a big issue right there. Because we all know dude is limited, and
that's all he's had though.
His limitations were exposed against Denver and Russell Wilson. I picked the Niners last week. I know Brian picked Denver, but I had very little confidence because Russell Wilson is 16. Now it might be 18-4 against us now. So he always finds a way to beats us. I never had confidence we were going to win that game. I knew it was over mid-second quarter. So,
damn.
This is what Jimmy does, man. It's going to be the same thing all season. Throw to the middle of the field. Hope the defense can bail you out when you can't score consistently.
All I know is that 10 to 11 or 11 to 10 is not a football score.
No,
it's a ping pong score.
Right.
That is
a high baseball score.
But we're much better with Jimmy Garoppolo. He just scored 10 points.
What's funny to me is you are Raider fans talking about Carr when it's your quarterback. But on our side, like this, it's kind of similar situations for a lot of
Jimmy
fans.
G's
It's like
numbers are not Derek
everything you're
Carr's.
saying.
Well, I went
He's
through
also
Jimmy
had a
G's
good
numbers.
defense.
Yeah, well, I went through Jimmy G's numbers last week, and like I said, when people always talk about, and to Brian's point, saying I called Jimmy G a winner, but I didn't. I challenge anybody to find it. I challenge anybody to find a podcast.
Please do.
Because people know I despise that. Find any podcast. If somebody can find anything where I said Jimmy G is a winner.
Together, man, you were the hype train for Jimmy.
I was, but I didn't say he was a winner.
He was a truck. I don't remember.
I did say he was a truck. That's right. So I will give anybody listening to this podcast, including Glenn and Brian, $100 if they see anything I've said in here where Jimmy G is a winner. I will Venmo you the money.
If
Brian will do it just to prove you wrong.
I would. Yeah. I am literally so busy that I will work. I've been working until 2 a.m. almost every night. I just don't know that I'll have the time. If I have any time, and I'm heading to Seattle tomorrow,
$100 Venmo.
My friend, I might download all of our podcasts, listen to all of them on the flights up and back. So I can play that for you.
That's for people out there too. If I call Jimmy G a winner because I despise that, people,
especially what? I got $25 to the person who finds it to make you pay them the $100.
Oh, well, so you got $125. Anybody that finds that I called Jimmy G a winner, because people
I can't
here
do it. Because I can't do it. I'll throw in the pot to make sure someone else does.
Because people know, especially people in the barbershop know that is not a compliment. Just like when you say Russell Westbrook plays hard, it's not a compliment on a player calling him a winner.
I'm calling. You know what? I'm calling my brother.
You should.
Student.
Please call him. He got plenty of time.
He's a Santa Cruz. I'm sure they got an app for that.
Exactly.
Just search the word and find it. But I remember the truck part.
And who we play next week? KC? Okay, that's another loss. Okay, I think we play KC next week, and then we get Carolina. Probably gonna win over there. But yeah, I'm not optimistic about this season. Yeah, I think.
Are there any other? Before we go on to this week, are there any other games from last week we want to talk about?
Yeah, Buffalo, Miami.
I was gonna say Dolphins beat the Bills.
This game, Buffalo. That's the reason why I do not pick Buffalo to ever win the Super Bowl. They're too Josh Allen reliant, and they can't run the ball, and they don't win close games. Josh Allen threw 63 times and ran 9 times. You cannot. That's not sustainable. You can't. I mean, you just can't keep doing that. And so they're too Josh Allen reliant to run for the run games. They don't have one, and they're 0-6 or 0-7 now in close games, like under 7 points. They'll either blow you out or they'll lose a close game. That's why I never pick Buffalo to win in the Super Bowl ever. I mean, you have to be able to win close games. You got to be able to run the ball sometimes. I'm not saying Miami's a great team. It was a good win for Miami, and I'm not saying Buffalo's a bad team, but it's just hard for me to pick a team like that to win the whole thing when you just have those obvious flaws. But what was your take on the game, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, look, Tua came back down to earth. He was playing human football this week with only 1 touchdown. But going on the Buffalo side, I completely understand your point of view that they need to be able to run the ball and they need to figure out who their running back is, because this giving, Devin Singletary, who's never really been able to establish himself as a real running back and is more the guy you have on the field because he can be part of the passing game, or Zach Moss or James Cook, who I think could very well be the running back as time goes on. I think I mentioned early on in the season, he's one of those rookie running backs to watch. He was very, very good in college. Anyways, but they got to figure that out. And if they're going to win a Super Bowl, they need to be able to give one guy 10, 15 carries a game and establish the running game. They don't need to get 100 yards plus out of that running back, but they need to get 70, 80 yards out of that running back. They need to have it so that somebody can't walk away from the running game, because you can walk away from the running game. Josh Allen is great. I mean, he throws a very, very nice ball.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's a threat in all different ways. But they've got to figure that out, and the defense is solid. So, I still think that Buffalo will likely be the team from the AFC. If I had to pick again, because I already picked them once, I'd still pick them. But I agree that they're not going to do it unless they figure out this running back situation. As far as the game goes, it's interesting to see someone on top that's not New England, and everyone thought that the next team up was going to be Buffalo. So that's a huge win for Miami. I mean, even if it was an ugly win, it's a huge win for Miami. Congrats to them. You have to imagine that Tyreek Hill makes a really big difference because Jalen Waddle was there last year, and Jalen Waddle was very good. And Jalen Waddle even led all receivers in this game. The difference is that Tyreek Hill is like what we were talking about with Justin Jefferson. He takes 2-3 guys with him wherever he goes. And anytime you don't take 2 or 3 guys with him, it makes you pay. And people who play with guys like that, that's exactly how you you get beat by the Jalen Waddles of the world. You love having a guy like Tyreek Hill on your team if you're Adam Thielen or Jalen Waddle.
GB, any thoughts on the game?
Man, I'd like to see how quick Miami rose, but I guess Miami was already winning games until they started trying to pay Brian Flores to lose them. So, I mean, they're looking solid.
Well,
Now, like you said, you had Tyreek, they already had Gesicki, they got a couple running backs. Like they actually got a little squad. And McDaniels looked like he's doing his thing with the teams he had. I think they played the Ravens, and who they played first week? Somebody weak or somebody good?
Yeah,
who are we talking about?
Miami, because also I think that
right now
that helps depending on who you play, right? When you start the season out, definitely.
Miami played New England in week 1. The Ravens.
Yeah, they played New England, the Ravens, and the Bills. I mean, those are three tough matchups, 2 divisional.
Yeah, solid teams, but
and even when they lost, I mean, even when they played beat the Ravens, I mean, that was a shootout. So they've shown that they can win in multiple ways. They've shown a gritty game. They showed that they can shoot it out when they need to.
Well, McDaniel was making Tua look pretty good, which is that's pretty good. I mean,
you can see how fast Tyreek is because it's easy to underthrow that dude. So also I have a lot of it's given me a different. I know Mahomes' arm is crazy, but it gives a different respect because you can see where he could put the ball when Tyreek was running.
Yeah.
And Tua, like Tyreek's coming back and catching him.
Yeah.
But he also might not be used to this.
Some of that's just getting used to it. Yeah, it's just getting used to it. Like he's got video game speed.
Tua doesn't
get the timing right.
Yeah, but Tua doesn't really have he has like a Jimmy Garoppolo deep ball where it kind of dies at the end. I mean, Tua doesn't really have a great deep ball. So I don't know if he'll ever get used to that speed, but as long as he keeps hitting them on slants, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Right.
And that's how Mahomes did it too. I mean, he got the deep ball, but it was always when he was wide open.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, what he does better than anybody is take a short slant and turn that into 80 yards.
Right.
50 yards.
Which y'all
a lot.
Man,
I was kind of interested to see how
which game?
These Eagles too. I know they're playing the Colonels, but they're putting up points, man, in every game.
Yeah. They didn't score in the second half, I don't think, again, but I don't think they needed to. They scored 24 in the second quarter and stopped scoring.
That's exactly.
I mean, it helps when Carson Wentz, who I'm actually surprised still starting in the league, gives you 3 interceptions. That's but when you play for the Admirals, man, I mean, that's just the Cadets. That's just what happens, man. It's not really a good franchise. But I didn't watch the game. Did you watch it, Brian? You watch it, Glenn? I didn't watch.
I got all the games on. I watch all.
Yeah, I was watching via Red Zone because it wasn't on TV. So I was out, but in watching Red Zone, what you kept seeing was the Eagles.
over and over for that short period of time. It was just boom, boom, boom.
And then I was watching the Raiders, so I wasn't paying as much attention. But yeah.
Man, a game that I was interested in.
Hold on.
My bad, Brian.
I was going to say something about Philly. Yeah.
Yep.
They need you were talking about the Buffalo Bills needing to figure out a running game.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles need to figure out a running game because just like they are Josh Allen dependent in Buffalo, the Eagles are Jalen Hurts dependent.
Man.
They gave Miles Sanders all these carries, but they give him in the worst situation. They give him on all these option runs. So they don't give him an actual opportunity to establish. I mean, he got 15 carries, but only 46 yards. And people will look at that and say it's Miles Sanders' problem. But no, because half of those runs, if not more, were on these read options where it's basically like, oh, the play's busted. And then Jalen Hurts says, I'm not taking the loss of yards. Here, you take the loss of yards, hands him the ball, and he gets crushed.
Yeah, but that's sort of like a good segue to the quarterback that you were touting earlier, Lamar Jackson. He does everything. Rushes over 100, passes for over 200. He's doing everything.
Their running game is they have really good running backs on that team. Now they're not necessarily healthy right now, but they have running backs. I mean, even with Lamar Jackson getting 100 yards and breaking records and all that, they still had Justice Hill with 60. J.K. Dobbins is averaging 3.5 yards a carry, and they still have 2 dudes that they haven't even brought out yet. So they have a running game. Granted, Lamar Jackson still does a whole bunch, but they can run the ball independent of Lamar Jackson running the ball. They have real running backs there. While Buffalo and Philly have issues.
Yeah, Lamar's killing it, but like I said, sustainability, we'll have to see. 17 games in the playoffs, we'll have to see. Yeah. But he's killing it right now.
It's not. I don't know what's sustainability because I think he's talented enough to sustain it. Health is what we were talking about. If he can stay healthy and upright, I mean, that's a lot of, you get 11 carries and and what's that? 40 plays total, 29 passing attempts and 11 carries. That's a lot of contact. There's no way not to.
What he has done though is even in that he's gotten way better at even in traffic getting down.
Yep.
I saw him a couple runs. He was dipping, and there was 3 people around him, and he was able to slide and get down, or just drop.
He knows to give up that extra 3 yards for his health.
Yeah. So and it was already a first down. What about the Bucks and Packers? Did y'all watch that?
I did. Green Bay had 3 points in the second half the last 2 games. So Green Bay can't score in the second half. They're good on script in the first half, and after that, I don't know what it is. I know part of it has to do with Aaron Rodgers not trusting his rookie receivers in key situations. No Devontae. After they scored, they have 8 drives and 7 punts and 92 yards after they scored their last touchdown. So they eat Tampa Bay, despite all their injuries. The reason why I picked Green Bay is because they had all these potential injuries. Potentially 9 out of 11 of their starters weren't going to play this game. That's the only reason I took Green Bay last week when we had talked about it. And Tampa Bay still had a chance to tie the game in the end, despite all of that. So Green Bay, in my opinion, is not really that impressive. They beat Chicago, they lost to Minnesota, and then they barely beat a beat up Tampa Bay team. So they might be 2-1, but it's not really impressive to me. I don't really consider them a threat or nothing. But good game, I guess. I didn't watch all of it, but I watched bits and pieces.
It was close, and the ending was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun, but I mean, getting there was rough. I mean, it was not a good football game to watch.
Yeah,
watching 2 great quarterbacks struggle to make anything happen. And 2 offenses. I mean, Aaron Jones had looked so great going into this game, and 12 carries for 36 yards. Leonard Fournette had looked so solid and coming into these games, 12 carries for 35 yards. These defenses, Tampa Bay's is pretty good, but Green Bay's is solid. It's not an all bunch of. It's not going to be one of the best defenses in the league. So it's pretty interesting to see these 2 teams struggle to find themselves still. A win is a win, and it's a big win for the Packers. Not as necessary a win for the Bucks. I know that they wanted it, but not as necessary a win as it was for the Packers, because if the Packers were 1-2 and in 3rd place, that would be very, very hard for them to swallow at this point in the season. Although, our division is up for grabs. I don't think anyone is.
Yeah, it's Minnesota's division. Ain't nobody winning that but them.
Green Bay. Minnesota's gonna let us all down. Watch.
Man, yeah, it's I have no thoughts in that game, but I do have thoughts on a coach in y'all division who should be fired now, but they're gonna wait till the end of the season, or maybe they won't because the organization as a whole is usually cheap, and that's the San Diego Chargers. Brian Staley.
Really?
Staley can't coach. He just, I mean, he can't.
He's already lost that job because that team don't exist.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my bad. LA Chargers.
He's out.
LA Chargers. I still can't say it right.
Ever saying that?
Yeah. LA Chargers, man. This dude, Brandon Staley, man. I don't know what else I can say about this dude, man. They're getting blown out, and you got a quarterback with bad ribs, and you still got him in the game with 8 minutes to go, man. Go and take that guy out. But I just think Sean Payton should just take that job next year so that team can be,
No. Whoa. Relax. Go ahead. Let Staley figure it out, bro.
Okay.
He is give him the time he needs.
Give him the time, right?
Yeah.
Every brother's fired, man.
Yeah,
every person got to get fired.
These defensive coaches, man.
The Broncos coach too. I think he's doing fantastic.
Well, this is another team like that we were talking about before. An all-pro quarterback who can make every pass in Justin Herbert, just like Josh Allen, just like others. And there's just no running game. Austin Eckler has been a complete bust.
Mm-hmm.
And he got 4 carries for 5 yards, Sony Michel had a fumble and he was 5 for 22. But they weren't even really trying to do much on the run game. But you have to have some balance, even if you have a really great quarterback. Tom Brady will tell you his best teams is when he was had guys like Sony Michel who were able to accumulate hard yards on the ground. Aaron Rodgers will tell you he's at his best when he has a running back who's able to get hard yards. It's not a matter of having a superstar at running back, but it's a matter of having some type of balance to the offense to keep people to give you opportunities to get single coverage down the field so that great quarterbacks can expose them. And you don't have that no matter who you have when you have, 26 yards total on the rushing side of things.
Yeah, fair.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I made a mistake, too. The 49ers play the Rams next week on Monday Night Football. Another prime
better or worse
time.
Oh, y'all are Monday?
Yeah, the Rams.
That's right.
Let me tell you something. I was wrong. I think, Brian, you liked them too. Maybe you didn't, but I was wrong on that Allen Robinson thing. It's not working. Allen Robinson.
Oh, I really like Allen Robinson.
Yeah, I like him too.
And I still think it will work. The difference is that they're trying to figure some things out. I still think it's going to work going down. Yeah. What was crazy to me was that Allen Robinson was the one getting double teamed in a lot of those plays. So there's clearly respect. They just got to work it into it. I think I think that experiment isn't dead yet.
No, it's not dead. It's just not working right now.
But OBJ is over there, sitting on the watching the game, just waiting for someone to tell him to suit up.
Yeah, trying to get his leg right. I'm looking at the schedule for this week. Tomorrow you got the Dolphins and the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Which is actually a solid game.
That might be
scheduling.
Yeah, it might be the best game out of. Honestly, these matchups are not that good, bro.
I think it's a blowout. Ooh.
I'm just looking at
Cincinnati, right?
No, I think Miami's getting blown out. Their defense was on the field for 80 plays last week, 90 plays. Yeah, I think Cincinnati's going to blow them out.
I'm just looking at these matchups, bro. Like the Vikings,
some good ones.
Vikings got the Saints, Jags got the Eagles.
Yep.
Depending on looking at
you said the Jags play the Eagles?
Yeah.
Well, the Jags don't have that much talent. They're in the AFC South.
That's what I'm saying. Like, are you watching that? Are you watching the Jets play the Steelers? Are you watching the Colonels play the Cowboys? Are you watching the Bears play the Giants? The Seahawks play the Lions? The Titans play the Colts?
Oh, I don't like watching Cincy right now.
I'm the Browns are playing the Falcons.
That's an interesting game because the Falcons don't got no defense and they put up points. That's interesting.
How disrespectful though is it? Let's go talk about some of these games.
Okay.
Talking about Cincy and the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a 3-0 team that have played quite well, won division games, and they're a 3.5 point dog to a 1-2 team who has done nothing.
Smacked.
And
until last week.
I was surprised. I thought you were going to pick the Dolphins, but I'm not. I can understand why someone's going to pick Cincy, but it just seems completely disrespectful of what they've done. So clearly, you're not a believer in anything that Miami's done. If you don't,
no, it's a situational. Awful. It's situational. I think their defense is going to get ran off the field in a second. Now they play close to 90 plays in that heat on Sunday.
And then they got to play.
They're not practicing on Monday. They're practicing Tuesday lightly. They're flying out on Wednesday and playing the game on Thursday. In Cincinnati, it's a road. If they were at home, maybe a little bit better, but they're on the road. I just think Cincinnati should blow them out. If Cincinnati doesn't blow them out, this is going to tell me a lot more about Cincinnati than Miami.
Win by 3.5. Okay.
I'm going to say that's why they gave them the 3. I'm sure.
It started at 1. It started at 1.5. It went up.
Yeah. I think the Vikings Saints game would be interesting to watch for those people who are going to be awake to watch it. I'm personally going to a bachelor party on Saturday night. And it's my team. I will set an alarm to see if I could possibly get up to watch it, but I don't like my chances.
Man, they got on your phone, you got TV in the room. Just let it go while you're still laid out.
I don't watch London games. I ain't up that early.
My team plays. I do, but
I was gonna say usually I would, but
if my team's playing.
We all know how bachelor parties can go. But anyways, who do you like in that game?
Which one?
Vikings Saints.
Oh yeah, who you like?
Minus 2.5.
Yes, it's Vikings minus 2.5 in London.
Yeah, who do you like?
Nobody's at home. Both travel.
2-1 versus 1-2.
Jason, who do you like?
Oh no, I don't like anybody in this game. I don't like anybody.
I don't like anybody.
If I'm not sure. I'm not going to pick this game in my point spread league. If I had to pick somebody on the point spread, I would take New Orleans if I had to.
Yeah.
I have no interest in this game.
Forced to make a choice, I would take New Orleans as well.
Just the points. Yeah.
It's 2 points?
2.5.
It's 2.5 points, but it's a trap. That's a trap line.
We talked about that off the top because they're begging you to take Minnesota because all you got to do is win by a field goal. You know, they're begging. They want you to, and 84% of the money right now is on the Vikings, 84%, and the line is still 2.5. It hasn't changed. So they're like, yeah, come bring us some more money on Minnesota. Come on.
When they lose, damn. I
Bring
don't
some
know.
more.
I mean, I don't. If y'all aren't playing me, I don't bet against y'all teams. So, but I also don't bet. You feel me? So
I would bet against my team. All right, we got to talk about the battle of the 2-1 Bears and Giants. Are either of these teams real in your mind? It's the Giants -3.
Man, first of all, Justin Fields has completed 23 passes all season. 23 damn passes, okay?
Hey, I heard Niner fans saying they should have taken him over Lance. Because he's more durable.
Shit. They said about Mac Jones, too. Mac Jones got 2 touchdowns and 5 interceptions this year.
Mac Jones went to the Pro Bowl. Trey Lance was at the crib.
It's 6
strip clubbing it.
Right. It's 6 turnovers this year, Mac Jones.
So both of these two teams are an unexpected 2-1. Who do you like? Giants -3.
Man, I am not taking Chicago on the road.
Okay.
I'm not. Yeah. I'm not doing it. I'm taking the Giants.
Brian was expecting you to say some other BS.
Look, I completely agree with you. There's the Bears aren't a good team. The fact that they're 2-1 is just weird. The Giants look
situational.
The Giants look like they're trying to ride Saquon back. You know,
he looks great if he can keep doing this though. He looks great.
And he's got spring in his step. He's got
he
speed,
looks good.
Breakaway speed. He's still able to play in both the passing and the rushing game.
It's crazy.
So anyways, I would definitely take the Giants and give the 3 points in that one. And then the other, I think another game that we got to talk about is the Eagles and the Jags, because the Jags have looked really good.
They're looking better.
The Eagles are 3-0.
Eagles have to win that game.
You think so? But it's
Eagles are going
Philly
to win this game.
6.5.
Well, now I see it as 7, and I'm taking Philly just because of talent level. Jacksonville. There's a reason why Jacksonville had the number 1 pick back-to-back years. They ain't got a lot of talent.
What's Philly's defense about though?
It's been killing in fantasy for me.
Okay.
And they can stop the run.
They have to win that game. They can't afford to lose ground right now.
Yeah. I told you I like Jacksonville to win the AFC South. I don't like them in this game. I think Philly's just too talented.
Bro, looking at this schedule though, tomorrow Dolphins and Bengals, and then Bills Ravens, I think are the best matchups of actual
Let's talk
teams
about the
good.
Bills and Ravens. It's Buffalo -3 in Baltimore. Brian, who you got?
I got the Ravens.
Got the Ravens and the point.
The Ravens.
Got the Ravens and the point.
And I think that is
Ravens win.
You were talking about this. I think that's the best football game this weekend. You got
this is the best
Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen.
Yep. The rest of these are if you're a fan, you watch.
I think there's other good games here, but if Buffalo were to win, I would not be surprised. I would not be disappointed in the Ravens. I would not say that this was a defining loss or anything like that. This is supposed to be a really good game. There's someone's got to win, someone's got to lose.
I hope Lamar wins
but I just feel like Lamar Jackson is going to have one of those seasons. And I still look, the Ravens are in the same division as Buffalo, and I still think Buffalo is going to the Super Bowl. But I think they're going to lose this game.
Yeah, I'm taking Buffalo this game. Buffalo has the defense to contain Lamar Jackson. I remember they played, I think, sometime a couple of years ago or whatever, and they contained him pretty good. I think they just go by the same game plan. I just think, I got Buffalo in this one. Only because I like Buffalo's defense over Baltimore's defense. I know Baltimore got some banged up corners on that team. And, so I got them covering the spread too and winning this game. I got Buffalo. So this will be a good one.
All right. I think that's as far as, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like the matchups, I think will be good because the teams are comparable who are playing against each other, but just by names and like who the players are, it's like, ugh.
Well, Brian, let's talk about a game that could be played in your city.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to talk about
Kansas City and Tampa Bay.
Likely the last time that Mahomes plays Brady.
And he's never beat him, I don't think, right? He's never beat Brady.
And if you were a Buccaneers season ticket buyer this year, you bought the season tickets for this game, and last week. But you bought it to see Mahomes come into town and play Brady in what was supposed to be a great game. If it does end up being Minnesota, I think it'd be very easy to sell tickets. If you're living in Minnesota and you get the opportunity to see Brady in a uniform against Mahomes in a uniform, which you're not ever going to be able to do unless it was a Super Bowl game. This is a pretty easy ticket to sell. And it's only KC -1. I imagine.
Oh, I see Pick'em. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I see -1. I would they take it off the board if they have to move it to Minnesota?
No, it's still a neutral field. That's still a good game. That could still be better.
So who do you like? KC -1.
With Mike Evans coming back, I'm taking Tampa Bay. I like Tampa Bay's
You think Mike Evans gets the offense back in play?
Mike Evans back, and I think hopefully Leonard Fournette plays. But also I like Tampa Bay's defense has played pretty good this year. I like their defense.
Their defense is very good.
Yeah, I like their defense over KC's. Tom Brady's, he's always found a way, maybe lucky or not, to beat Mahomes. This KC team is good, but I'm gonna take Tampa on this one. I'm gonna take Tampa.
You know my rule of who I pick.
Don't bet against Brady.
Don't get big against Brady.
Right.
And it's also a $50 million quarterback.
And then I think Brady's on FU mode. I mean, he's not had a great season. All the rumors are going around about his personal life being a mess. 2 weeks ago, you're talking about all the antics on the sideline. This time he lost. I think that you're going to get a very focused Tom Brady in spite of everything that's going on in Florida.
They better.
Yeah, Casey's defense. Brady this year is 19th. He's the 19th best quarterback under pressure. I don't think Casey's going to get pressure on him to make him uncomfortable. So I think Tampa Bay wins this one.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. What?
There's one more game.
You guys are gonna. Well, there's two more games. You got to pick your guys.
Exactly. Got to do the Rams and the 49ers.
I mean, you don't have to.
Well, yeah.
Everybody got choices. You could do whatever you want.
Well, look, man. If they keep giving Cam Akers the ball, man, we're gonna win this game. Okay, because he fumbles, he can't pass block, he can't get on the field because of it.
Henderson's gotten the.
No, we got it. Let's be optimistic on Cam Akers. So I'm gonna take the 49ers, man. We got to be optimistic on Cam Akers.
Y'all are in LA?
No,
we're in San Francisco.
It's in San Francisco. San Francisco minus one and a half.
It's bad because the line suggests the Rams are the better team too. So
that's because they are.
And that's right. We know that.
Right. So
they just won a Super Bowl.
It's not really that. I mean, it's saying I think the Rams have problems personally. I think the 49ers are going to win because I don't like the Rams offensive line. It's clear they're clearly not the same team as last year. They're missing.
I will take the other side of that.
Bad.
So I'll take the Rams.
This the game the 49ers. This game the 49ers always win. They always beat them at home. No matter how much the Rams are favored to win in San Francisco, they always win. Somehow.
I'll take the Rams.
He's taking the Rams. And just kept it simple.
Yeah. I mean, if we have
Broncos.
This is Josh McDaniels. I mean, this is a team you used to coach for. This
you all
is
are favored.
All the everything. We're at the crib. You should be by what is it? 3 points? 2.5?
2.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I figured a field goal. Russell's a fool. I think we do enough on the defensive end. They have to get a win just to get people off their back and to give their team a flip. But it could easily be, like you said, 0-5. I've been saying this, and I've been telling Mom and other people, like, I think it takes them about 6 weeks to kind of figure this out and start rolling. I think we'll get hot then. And I was looking at the schedule. Week 6 is against the Texans. And before I even knew that, I was saying it. But I don't know. So I hope they win. But I ain't got no kind of – I just don't know who this team is yet.
I'm taking Las Vegas. I think that the Broncos are a very bad offensive team with a lot of problems that you cannot fix in 1 week, and they don't even look like they've started the process yet. So I will take Las Vegas, who scores, even though they're 0-3, is scoring close to 7 points more a game than Denver. So
yeah, I'm looking at the money right now.
In all those games, we've been one score away.
Okay, the money's on the Raiders, and the line went up. I'm taking the Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders.
Every time y'all do that, man.
When does it happen?
We took it last week. We took Raiders last week over
when
Tennessee.
When y'all say we bad.
Did I take Raiders over
Yes,
Tennessee?
you did. Yeah, you took Raiders.
Okay, well, maybe.
Take the Raiders. When y'all say they win, they lose. When y'all say they lose. Some bull. But nah, we'll see what happens. I just want them to compete, honestly, bro, because I think the way I was looking at it, everybody signed for 3 years. And I think, like Brian said, this is it's everybody's first year. Like everybody, all new coaching, all new GM, president, players. Like there's so much new stuff coming in. So I think it's going to take them a while. I think the goal is the Super Bowl in 3 years. Within 3 years.
They better win this week because they ain't winning next week.
Against the Chiefs and KC.
Oh yeah,
Monday
night. Happen. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. Not with that secondary. No, that ain't happening.
In KC on Monday night. Nah.
Yeah, it didn't matter if we had Ronnie Lott the way they out here, bro.
Yeah.
But you guys should be able to beat the Texans in 2 weeks. So
that's what I'm saying. Week 6, I think they start rolling. I think we start seeing like, oh, okay, this is who we thought they could be. But you don't want to be 0-5 by then.
After the Texans, though, you have the Saints who are going to have a win coming out of London.
You hella funny.
Be all right. But I mean,
got the Jaguars who are leading the division.
I'd rather play all of them than the Chiefs again or the Bills again, or I'm saying stuff like that. I'd take the Jags. I'll take the you
guys there's
Colts.
wins down the line. You're going to beat the Seahawks.
Yeah, the Seahawks. We're going to get the little. I think we have a chance to win some games, so we'll see. And I'm gonna be at that Colts game. So, and then I'm gonna go to the Chargers game too. But yeah. All right. So what's this Brett Favre story, man? I've kind of heard about it, something about volleyball and millions and welfares. I don't really know.
Go ahead, Brian, lay it out. Lay it out.
Well, I think most people who are interested in this kind of already looked it up. And Brett Favre has been working with other people in the local government of Mississippi to get welfare funds to do his pet projects, basically. It's millions of dollars. He basically raided the fund, and he did it with the assistance of people who were working in the welfare department and other people in the government, in the local government there. He's proven that he is who most thought he was, which is a really bad dude. I mean, you have one of the poorest states in Mississippi.
Very poor.
And very, very poor. And he's raiding the welfare fund. It's just such a disgusting look. And today the thing is he was going to donate some of this money that came from the welfare fund to the University of Southern Mississippi Athletic Foundation for a practice. Like that's not what that doesn't change the problem. Right. Like that's not what welfare money is supposed to be used for. There's a couple other of these things, but he was basically using it as his piggy bank to handle pet projects that make him look good without him spending any of his own money.
Hey, Brian, man, he's just doing
greedy.
Dude, he's just doing. He doesn't work. So welfare is built for him. He doesn't work, right?
I'm messing with you. The funny thing about not the funny thing. This is not a funny thing. Right. But I feel like sometimes he does, like people do some stupid stuff to make sure you don't look at him for other reasons. Because with all the stuff that happened with Deshaun Watson, nobody talks about Mr. Massage in New York and Brett Favre and all of that.
Mr. Massage. It says that the Mississippi Department of Human Services provided federal funds to 2 nonprofit organizations and then directed the 2 nonprofit organizations to fraudulently award contracts to various entities and individuals for social services that were never rendered.
Damn. Yeah.
So they gave him a bunch of money and said, "Hey, give a little money to this guy, give a little money to this guy, write these contracts." Write a bunch of So it's
and the lipstick on that pig is that they gave some money to some charitable foundations that Favre has and he's like, we gave money to charity, even if it was just that and not all the rest of the just flat out stealing of money.
Still wrong.
That's not what the welfare funds of Mississippi are supposed to be used for.
Right, but if Magic Fingers Maria shows up in an interview, everybody wants to talk to her. But Brett Favre, nobody says nothing. I mean, I told you, Jameis Winston got more coverage stealing crab legs at Florida State.
They got the boys' text. Ugh,
man.
And Brett, dang, he's like dead to rights. If you were to pay me this, is there any way the media can find out?
Can I ask you a question? You just mentioned that they had him dead to rights. Has he seen bracelets yet?
Do you think in this kind of case, wouldn't they just try and find you crazy? You think they'd actually put him in jail? It's a federal crime.
Federal money.
Yeah.
He stole federal money. Don't pay your taxes and ask what's Wesley Snipes how it goes.
Yeah, because he did.
If you take money from the federal government, typically it comes with a harsh reaction,
right?
Unless you're
right. I mean, Glenn, I had Ron Isley and Wesley do my taxes, and I still took the brunt of it. All right, so I'm just
you a brave boy. You a brave boy,
man.
Damn, Favre was paid $500,000 in December and $600,000 in 2018 for appearances and speeches at multiple events that he didn't go to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's bad, man. That's sad, actually. It's really sad.
I mean, he received $1.1 million for speaking engagements and never spoke.
Right.
What's he gonna talk about anyway for $1 million? Ain't nothing a boy can tell me for that much.
Man.
It was several of them, but that's not the point. The point is he got $1.1 million out of these funds and never spoke.
Right. Like, it's different.
It wasn't like he went there and got overpaid.
Right.
He never spoke.
This guy also was trying to get a new football facility at Southern Miss.
Yeah.
To help try and get Deion Sanders' son to play quarterback there.
Oh, damn. That's
crazy, bro. I should have read this. Like, this is wild.
Dude ain't gonna spend no time in jail. Hopefully. But he's not.
Hopefully he will.
And that's what I'm saying. Hopefully he will, but I'm saying I'm not. And
I'll go back. I still say this all the time. Brett Favre's best year as a quarterback was as a Viking, not as a Packer. But
I remember that year.
But I will sell him down the river in a heartbeat because he's not a good dude.
Man,
that's crazy. Okay, well, that's some wild stuff, man. I think that's we're all football for the show. I appreciate you guys. My minute to win it is just for if we're cool. I was gonna, good.
Go ahead.
Just for my pops. Happy birthday to my dad. Yes. I'm just thankful to be a son, man. Thankful for everything he did. Love you, Mom. Love you, Cressa. Happy birthday, pops. He'd have been 70 years old today.
Nah, that's real talk. Happy birthday for real, no doubt. My minute to win it is the same as last week. Thank you all for listening.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Appreciate everybody.
Check us out on
I was gonna say check out Brian and Glenn's music podcast too.
Now slapping.
Now slapping podcast. Yeah, Brian and Glenn are talking about music. Eventually, me and Glenn will talk about music as well. But definitely check it out. It's worth the listen. About 55 minutes long. Take time. Holla at it. Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn, for letting me be a part of that. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for doing it.
Of course, happy birthday to your dad. And my minute to win it is just my thoughts go out to the people who are in Florida. I do not like Florida. That doesn't mean I want them all to drown.
Straight up.
But Ian hit as a category, I think 5.
It's bad. Yeah.
That's a very serious hurricane. We got people on the other side of the state. We got friends on the other side of the state hanging out at the beach. But the other one side of that state is going through some things right now. And all the people up the coast that are about to deal with that, my thoughts are with them.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I got to add some. I think I'll be remiss if I don't talk about this. My thoughts and prayers definitely go out to everyone at that school who were shot in Oakland. It was a school shooting in Oakland where 6 people were injured and they were taken immediately to Highland Hospital. So, schools used to be safe. Now it isn't. The school is called King Estates in East Oakland. So I hope everything works out there. But yeah, I definitely have to give a shout out for that.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers. Hate to say it like that, but definitely thinking about you all. Thank you for listening. We'll check y'all next time.